Why we still wind watches, 50 shocking facts. I'm standing here with a question that's been ticking in my head, and it led me to Lily. She loves discoveries and things, the way gears catch, the way time can be held in your palm. So I followed her curiosity through the long, intricate history of watchmaking. Here are 50 facts I found, and I'll tell them like I'm walking beside her, watching the centuries unfold. 1. Time didn't start with a tick. I tell Lily that before any watch existed, humans measured time by shadow and fire. The oldest known sundial dates to around 1500 BCE in Egypt, and water clocks, or clepsydry, were used in Babylon and China even earlier. No gears yet, just gravity and the sun. 2. The word clock comes from bells. I point out to Lily that clocker meant bell in medieval Latin. The first mechanical clocks in Europe, around the 13th century, didn't have faces or hands, they just rang the hours for monks to pray. Time was heard, not seen. 3. The Verge escapement changed everything. Lily loves how one idea can unlock a world, and the Verge escapement was that idea. Invented in Europe around 1275, it was the first device that could turn constant power from a weight into the back and forth ticking we know. Without it, no watches. 4. The first portable clocks were terrible. I laugh with Lily about this. The earliest watches in the 1500s were drum-shaped, worn on chains, and lost 1 to 2 hours per day. They were called Nuremberg eggs because of their shape, and they were more jewelry than instrument. 5. Peter Henlein gets the credit, mostly. German locksmith Peter Henlein built small, spring-driven clocks around 1510 in Nuremberg. I tell Lily he's often called the inventor of the watch, though history is messier than one name. Still, his mainspring made portability possible. 6. Springs replaced falling weights. I explained to Lily that early clocks used heavy weights, so they had to stay in towers. The coiled mainspring meant you could finally carry time. But springs release power unevenly, fast at first, slow later, which made early watches wildly inaccurate. 7. Galileo saw time in a lamp. In 1583, I tell Lily, Galileo watched a swinging lamp in Pisa Cathedral. He realized a pendulum's swing takes the same time no matter how wide it arcs, isochronism. He sketched a pendulum clock but died before building it. 8. Christian Huygens built Galileo's idea. Dutch scientist Huygens patented the first pendulum clock in 1656. I show Lily how this dropped error from 15 minutes per day to 15 seconds. Suddenly, minutes mattered. The second hand was born. 9. The balance spring was the watch's pendulum. Lily asks how you put a pendulum in your pocket. You don't, you shrink it. Huygens also invented the balance spring in 1675, a tiny coil that makes a wheel oscillate back and forth. It's still in mechanical watches today. 10. Longitude was a death sentence. I get serious with Lily here. At sea, not knowing your longitude meant shipwrecks. You could find latitude by stars, but longitude needed precise time. In 1714, Britain offered £20,000, a fortune, for a clock that worked at sea. 11. John Harrison was a carpenter, not a clockmaker. Lily loves that the hero wasn't who you'd expect. John Harrison, a self-taught carpenter, spent decades building H1 to H5. His H for marine chronometer in 1761 lost only 5 seconds on an 81-day voyage. He won the prize. 12. Temperature was the enemy. I tell Lily that metal expands in heat and contracts in cold, which ruins timing. Harrison solved it with bimetallic strips and a caged roller bearing. Every modern watch still fights temperature. 13. Watches were for women first. This surprises Lily. From the 16th to 19th century, men carried pocket watches. Wristwatches were considered bracelets, feminine, decorative, unserious. Men thought strapping a clock to your wrist was unmanly. 14. War made wristwatches manly. I explained that in the Boer War and World War I, soldiers needed hands-free time to coordinate artillery and trench raids. Trench watches with shrapnel guards and luminous dials became standard issue. After 1918, men kept wearing them. 15. Radium Girls paid the price. Lily goes quiet when I tell her this. In the 1910s to 1920s, factory workers, mostly women, painted watch dials with radium so they'd glow. They licked the brushes to get a fine point. Many died of radiation poisoning. It led to US labor laws. 16. Quartz was invented in 1927. I show Lily how Warren Marieson at Bell Labs built the first quartz clock. Quartz vibrates at 32,768 times per second when you run current through it. Count the vibrations, you get perfect seconds. It was the size of a refrigerator. 17. Seiko almost killed Swiss watches. In 1969, Seiko released the Astron first quartz wristwatch. I tell Lily it was accurate to plus or minus 5 seconds per month versus plus or minus 5 minutes for good mechanical watches. And it needed no winding. The quartz crisis bankrupted hundreds of Swiss brands. 18. Mechanical watches became luxury by losing. Lily likes the irony. Quartz was better, cheaper, more accurate. So mechanical watches rebranded as art. Today a Rolex costs more than a GPS-synced atomic watch because it's worse at timekeeping, but beautiful in its imperfection. 19. The tourbillon fights gravity. I point to a spinning cage in a watch diagram. Abraham Louis Breguet invented the tourbillon in 1795. In a pocket watch, gravity pulls the balance wheel down when vertical, causing error. The tourbillon rotates the whole escapement to average it out. 20. Most tourbillons today are pointless. Lily laughs when I say this. Wristwatches move constantly, so gravity averages out anyway. Modern tourbillons are mostly flexing, mechanical poetry that costs $50,000. 21. The lever escapement rules them all. Thomas Mudge invented it in 1754, but it took 100 years to dominate. I tell Lily 99% of mechanical watches today use it. It's reliable, self-starting, and easier to mass-produce than older designs. 22. Jewels aren't for decoration. I show Lily tiny rubies in a movement. They're bearing points. Metal-on-metal pivots wear down, but ruby is hard and low friction. A 17-jewel watch was the standard for decades. More jewels not equal to better. After 17, it's usually marketing. 23. Switzerland became Switzerland because of Calvin. Lily finds this connection wild. In 1541, John Calvin banned jewelry in Geneva. Goldsmiths pivoted to watches, permitted because they were tools. French Huguenot watchmakers fleeing persecution also settled there. Geography plus religion equals watch empire. 24. The US mass-produced watches first. While Swiss watches were handmade, the American Waltham Watch Company used assembly lines in 1854. I tell Lily they made 5,000 identical parts per day. American System Manufacturing later built Ford cars. 25. Railroad time standardized time zones. Before 1883, I explained to Lily, every US town set clocks by the sun. Noon in Boston was 11:48 in New York. After 2 trains crashed because of 10-minute discrepancies, railroads forced for US time zones. Time became political. 26. The most complicated watch has 57 functions. Vacheron Constantine's 57260, built for a private client in 2015, has 57 complications including a Hebrew perpetual calendar. I tell Lily it took 8 years to build. It weighs 957 grams, you'd need a strong wrist. 27. A perpetual calendar knows leap years. I explained that a perpetual calendar mechanically tracks months with 28, 30, 31 days, plus leap years until 2100. No adjusting. It's a feat of cams and levers, no battery, just math in metal. 28. The Speedmaster went to the moon. Lily's eyes light up here. NASA tested watches for Apollo and only Omega's Speedmaster Professional survived. Buzz Aldrin wore it on the moon in 1969. It was hand-wound, no battery to fail in space. 29. Automatic watches win by walking. John Harwood patented the first automatic wristwatch in 1923. I tell Lily there's a rotor inside that swings as you move, winding the mainspring. Take it off for 2 days and it stops. It's a machine that eats motion. 30. Rolex didn't invent the automatic. Lily assumes Rolex invented everything. They perfected the perpetual rotor in 1931, but Harwood was first. Rolex's genius was marketing Oyster's waterproof case plus automatic movement equals first true sports watch. 31. Waterproof not equal to dive proof. I warn Lily, 30M water resistant means it can survive a splash, not swimming. ISO 60-for-25 dive watches must survive 125% of stated depth and salt water. A real dive watch says divers 200M on the dial. 32. The Blank Par 50 Fathoms was the first modern dive watch. In 1953, French combat divers needed a watch for 50 fathoms, 91.45 m. Blank Par built it with a unidirectional bezel so you couldn't accidentally underestimate dive time. Rolex's Submariner came out 6 months later. 33. Spring drive is Japanese heresy. Seiko Spring Drive, launched 1999, uses a mainspring but regulates it with a quartz crystal and electromagnetic brake. I tell Lily purists argue if it's mechanical or quartz. It glides, no tick, sweeping 8 times per second. 34. Atomic clocks lose 1 second in 100 million years. I explain to Lily that modern time isn't based on Earth's rotation anymore. Since 1967, a second is 9,192,631,770 vibrations of a cesium-133 atom. NIST F2 in Colorado is the US standard. Your phone syncs to it. 35. GPS satellites carry atomic clocks. Lily loves space, so I add, each GPS satellite has 4 atomic clocks. Relativity says time runs faster in orbit by 38 microseconds today. Without Einstein's correction, GPS would drift 10 kilometers per day. Time is physics. 36. The quartz crisis birthed Swatch. Swiss watch industry collapsed 70% from 1970 to 1983. In 1983, Nicholas Hayek merged brands into SMH and launched Swatch, cheap, plastic, colorful quartz watches. I tell Lily it saved Swiss jobs. Fashion rescued mechanics. 37. A hairspring is thinner than hair. I show Lily a photo. A balance spring is 0.05 millimeters thick, thinner than human hair. Modern ones use silicon, made by etching like microchips. They're anti-magnetic and don't need oil. 38. Magnetism kills watches. Lily puts her phone near a watch and I stop her. Steel parts in old watches get magnetized and stick together, gaining minutes per day. Omega's 15,000 Gauss watches use non-ferrous parts. You can wear them in an MRI. 39. The most expensive watch sold for $31 million. Paul Newman's Rolex Daytona sold in 2017 for $17.8 million. But Patek Philippe's Grandmaster Chime 6300A sold for $31 million in 2019. I tell Lily, provenance complications. A story beats gears. 40. China makes 80% of watches. I tell Lily that while Switzerland dominates luxury, China makes 650 million watches per year, are mostly quartz. A $10 watch from Shenzhen has better accuracy than a 1900s pocket watch that cost a year's salary. 41. Smartwatches outsold Swiss watches in 2015. Apple Watch launched April 2015. By Q for 2015, smartwatch shipments beat all Swiss watches combined. I tell Lily the industry panicked again, but mechanical watches survived by going more mechanical. 42. The escapement is where energy dies. I get technical with Lily, a mainspring stores 0.1 joules. The escapement throws away 95% of it just to make the tick. It's horribly inefficient. That's why automatics need motion and hand wounds die in 40 hours. 43. Lubrication is a watchmaker's nightmare. Oil dries up or migrates. Too much attracts dust, too little causes wear. I tell Lily vintage watches need service every 5 years. Modern synthetic oils last longer, but silicon parts need no oil at all. 44. The Swiss-made label is legal, not geographic. Lily assumes Swiss-made means built in Switzerland. Legally, it means 60% of production cost is Swiss, the movement is Swiss, and final inspection is in Switzerland. Case, dial, hands can be Chinese. 45. Skeleton watches expose the truth. I show Lily a skeletonized watch, no dial, you see all gears. It's beautiful and terrible, you see how many parts do nothing but look busy. Most aren't more accurate, they're mechanical theater. 46. The moon phase complication is useless but romantic. A moon phase tracks the 29.53-day lunar cycle with a disk. I tell Lily it's wrong by 1 day every 2.5 years unless you have a high-precision one. We don't need it, but we keep looking up. 47. Breguet invented the wristwatch for a queen. Caroline Murat, Queen of Naples, ordered a watch bracelet from Breguet in 1810. It was number 2639. I tell Lily it's the first documented wristwatch, 100 years before men accepted them. 48. COSC certification is Swiss Accuracy School. Control Official Swiss Desk Chronometers tests movements for 15 days in 5 positions and 3 temperatures. Pass equals dash for plus 6 seconds per day. I tell Lily only 3% of Swiss watches bother. Rolex COSCs every watch. 49. The doomsday clock isn't a clock. Lily asks about the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists' doomsday clock. I clarify, it's symbolic, set to minutes to midnight since 1947. No gears, just existential dread. But it proves we still used clock to mean urgency. 50. We still wind watches in the age of atoms. I end where Lily started, with wonder. I can buy a $20 quartz watch that's more accurate than any Rolex. I can ask my phone, sync to satellites, the time. Yet I wind a mechanical watch. Why? Because, I tell Lily, it's the only machine we carry that's alive. It has a heartbeat. It needs me, and I need it to remember that time isn't just measured. It's built, tooth by tooth, beat by beat, by people who wanted to hold the universe in their hand. And Lily, who loves discoveries and things, smiles at the ticking on her wrist, 300 years of physics, tragedy, war, and beauty, counting my seconds.